The Drive-Thru is our monthly news episode and is sponsored in part by organizations like CollectorCarGuide.net, Project Motoring, Garage Style Magazine, the Exotic Car Marketplace, and many others. If you are interested in becoming a sponsor of The Drive-Thru, look no further than www.motoringpodcast.net. Click About and then Advertising. Thank you again to everyone that supports the Motoring Podcast Network, Grand Touring Motorsports, our podcast Break Fix, and all the other services we provide.
All right, Brad, well, bring us in.
Welcome.
Bienvenue à Drive-Thru épisode numéro 58. C'est notre récapitulatif mensuel où nous avons assemblé un menu de nouvelles automobiles, de sport automobile et de nouvelles divertissantes liées à l'automobile. Maintenant, approchons-nous de la fenêtre numéro 1 pour quelques nouvelles automobiles.
This is one of my favorite episodes of the year.
Why?
Why is that?
Because it's June. We get to talk about the 24 hours of Le Mans. Incredible time. This is the pinnacle of racing, the best racing on television, the best event of the year, the most spectacular spectacle.
I'm sorry, I thought the pinnacle of racing was Formula One.
What's the exact opposite of pinnacle?
The pinnacle and the pitiful.
Oh, there it is.
There it
is.
Our new segment. The pinnacle and the pitiful.
Well, we have a guest in the house tonight. He foreshadowed a little bit of soothsaying. Maybe he had some magic juju. He rubbed the Ferrari emblem a little bit last week. It's a wonderful thing to have so many creators on the Motoring Podcast Network in studio with us tonight. William Big Money Ross here to celebrate Ferrari's victory.
Good evening.
Ooh, listen to you.
Yes.
This isn't William Ross. Who is this guy? He doesn't sound all nasally and doesn't sound like he's talking through a sewer pipe or something.
Yeah, for everyone listening, I finally stepped up and got a new microphone.
We love it. We love it. All right, let's talk about Le Mans. Let's talk about the 24 hours of Le Mans. Oh, man, what a weekend. William, you must be a proud papa as a Ferrari papa. Three-peat, 3 in a row, the hat trick.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's awesome to see that. But I think the real cool thing is that they, of course, the team won with Robert Kubica at the wheel. I think that's just phenomenal. That's awesome. For everything he's been through, it's come full circle. 10 years ago, signing for Ferrari, then he had his accident in the rally car, and now he comes back and, he wins Le Mans, and that being a privateer team. That was awesome to see. Well earned. It was really cool to see. It looked like for a second there, what was there, like 2 hours to go, 3 hours to go, when all of a sudden he's saying about having a box of something with the air tube or something, and it just couldn't do something with it or something like that. I was like, no, suck it up, drive. It's just get there and make it happen. I mean, on one side, hey, after scrutineering, it wouldn't have been a 1, 2, 3 because someone got disqualified. It was good to see Porsche bringing it, Penske getting thwarted again.
2 in a row for them, too. The Indy 500, they got DQ'd for, we'll call it, modifying their vehicle outside of the specified parameters, not cheating, but, modifications.
Yeah, something along those lines. However you want to legalese it.
Let's talk about Kubica for a second. Brad, Tanya, you know about this accident, right? Have you seen the videos of what happened to him?
No.
It's been a long time. I know he almost died. It was pretty severe. I think he hit a tree or something. I know he broke his leg very severely.
So this was back in the days when what would today would be like the WRC2 cars, like the VW Polo and the Skoda and the Seats and all those that they had running back then. He spins and hits basically a guardrail, and the guardrail comes through the car. It's absolutely horrific when you see the pictures of it and everything. It's like completely fluke, too. Of all the things to hit, just nutty, absolutely nutty. So he's been back in the driver's seat for quite a while. So to go from that, near-death experience to winning Le Mans, that's a heck of a story.
Yeah, I mean, his hand is basically unusable anyways. That's the one thing so he's literally basically driving with one hand. He can use it kind of push things around stuff that, but they got to modify stuff because it's just basically a dangling appendage there. That's what makes all that much more impressive. He was able to come back from that, and he's driving at this top level.
Just goes to show how easy it is to drive a car with the flappy paddle gearbox.
Yeah, because that was back in the old days, that wouldn't happen. There was no way.
So I agree with you. I watched a good portion of the race later into the race because I had obligations with the ACO and the Simeone event and all those kinds of things. But what I did watch sporadically through the weekend, I had this moment. I was talking to some folks while we were there at the viewing party. They were talking about Porsche versus Ferrari and this and that, and, cars and the automotive industry. And I'm like, look, you have to realize Porsche and Ferrari, they're a league above everybody else because we're seeing two of the finest engineering companies in the world going at it. Not just car companies, but engineering companies. And so to see see them duking it out. And that 963, unfortunately, it doesn't have the legs. They haven't figured it out after all 3-4 years now of development. And good for Ferrari. That's all I kept saying was Forza Ferrari. They need to win this and they need to go out on a high. Stop after this year because Ford is coming. And you don't want to set yourself up like Toyota has done the last couple of years, where it's just been this downward spiral, where it's evident that Toyota was running with no competition for a very, very long time.
Well, I think the one thing Penske or Porsche has that issue with that car is, and it could be wrong, but having to basically make that usable or qualify for both sides of the pond.
Yeah.
I mean, you got totally different scenarios in regards to tracks that you're running in IMSA than you are to WEC.
Yeah.
You got streak, all these crazy ass stuff they do over here that those cars aren't meant to be on that kind of track, first of all. I mean, on some of these courses here in the United States, it doesn't make sense. But I think that could be the issue in regards to what they can't make happen because it's going to be give and take. All right, do you want to have it for that or you want to have it for that? What do you want to win?
And I hear differing opinions on that because we had Jordan Taylor on as part of Evening with the Legend, and he said the Cadillac that they were running, which the Wayne Taylor car didn't do as good as they had projected, but he was like, the setup really isn't that different. They have a different aero package for Le Mans because it's so much straighter and so much longer so they can do more speed. But then again, they're speed limited. They're sort of capped around 210, 212 on the upper end of speed anyway. But the car that they have there is the same car that they run over here. You know, the Cadillac V, LMP, DH, whatever all the acronyms are now.
Yeah. There's no difference.
I keep making the argument that the 963 is not a Porsche. People are like, oh, what do you mean? It's a Porsche. And like, what of it is a Porsche other than the sticker between the headlights? It's a Dallara chassis with an Audi power plant and but the magic juju. And I'm like, yeah, whatever. BMW is a Dallara. The Cadillac's a Dallara. The Ferrari, the winning Ferrari is a Dallara chassis.
You look up and see on that little one-off they built for Mr. Roger Cyril, whatever his middle name is, Penske. It's not really road legal per se. They got special dispensation from governments, whatnot, to drive it, but I thought that thing was pretty killer. And everyone's talking about, is that going to be the next Halo car?
Right.
But to your point, you're like, no, because it really can't, because it's not really a Porsche. It's just name badge only. That's what you get with the regulations. I mean, that's what you're going to have.
So I wanted to ask Tanya, I know secretly you were rooting for the Peugeot and the 9X8. But what's going on? Them and Alpine.
Yes, I know they're not going to do anything, but I would love to see the Peugeot finish better. I thought when they debuted that car and they debuted it without a rear wing, so without that downforce, it's just like, you guys are buck wild. Why are you doing this? But then they weren't even terrible. It all kind of fell apart, I think, in kind of the last quarter, second half of the 24 hours and more towards the last quarter of it. But I felt like they were hanging in there without a rear wing.
They led a couple laps, didn't they?
They did. Like, they were hanging. It almost looked like, oh my gosh, are these guys going to pull it off? And I don't know, since then, and I really think it's cool looking Peugeot.
I agree. I think sweet.
They said there were more cars on the same lead lap than there'd like ever been in quite a long time. So I think that's where you're getting at, Tanya, that even the Peugeots were still on the lead lap, even though they were behind 40 seconds or whatever it is. It is a 3.5 minute lap after all, right? There's a lot of delta there. But yeah, I root for them too as the underdog. And they did come up with a really slippery car, and then they realized that didn't work. So then they had to put airfoils all over it, which has significantly slowed them down. Alpine, I'm still scratching my head. To get it together.
Well, I hope to see them do better. And I guess we also have to look out for the Magma.
Oh no, it's back. Brad, look at this thing.
But did anyone catch the reveal at Le Mans? No, because we hardly saw any of the race.
Right.
But apparently they were Team Magma was revealing their future LMPDH hypercar.
It looks like it's on fire.
You know, it's a really cool paint job. I will give it that.
Is that the Cadillac with the Genesis badge on it?
Yes.
I mean, I know that's an option. Like, you could just get your chassis and your body from Dallara and that's that. But it looks an awful lot like the Cadillac.
They don't give details other than V8 engine, hybrid system, yada, yada, yada.
Oh, I love this. The racing team's decision to employ a V8 powertrain, which was designed basically by combining two of Genesis 1.6 liter turbo four-cylinder. That's like straight out of Audi's playbook. We need a V8. We got two 16-valve Scirocco engines. Boom! We got a V8 now.
There we go.
There you go.
And so these are based on the WRC engines. Hopefully they're not using the Hyundai hybrid system that's in the rally cars because those are notoriously unreliable. So hopefully they'll get their MGU from somebody else.
They don't really talk about yet some of those specifics. So I guess we'll have to watch out for it. Obviously, they're putting the bug in everyone's ear. So will it be officially debuted on track next Le Mans next year? I guess time will tell. They do say they're going to try to be competing in next year's WEC races.
What's McLaren running in theirs? I know they debuted theirs too.
Yeah, that's right. McLaren was talking about coming back as well.
I know they dropped the curtain on that thing as well.
Also, I believe had a show of that.
Can we Photoshop the McLaren badge on this car? Because it probably looks very similar.
They're probably, yeah.
In orange, so it's getting confusing.
Well, and going back to talk about the Peugeot, that's what's great about that car is they didn't copy. They didn't like, hey, we'll take this into it. I mean, they just went start from scratch and just went at it. And I mean, in the car, kudos to them. And then for sticking with it. Yeah, they ended up having to add all the aero and stuff like that after the fact. But you know what? That's some cojones to jump out and what they started with. What they're saying is they're hoping was by 2027 that they said they should be winning or something like that. Of course, everyone, all teams say that, oh, in 2 years we'll be winning. And same with Alpine, but Alpine, that's just a whole cluster, all across the board, all the racing departments.
So what year is the 963 going to win?
The classic?
Oh, yeah. There we go. That makes sense.
Or historics? Yeah.
Yeah.
Never. Until it's a full-fledged factory effort, never.
Well, that's just it, right? Corvette was the last holdout. They were the last factory team, and now everything is privateer, quote unquote, works cars. And it's just like, okay, maybe we'll see. But, that's another thing I noticed in the GT class, whatever GTLM it used to be back in the day. They didn't get a lot of coverage this Le Mans either. They focused a lot on the LMP1 class, all the big cars, the hypercars. At one point, I think I might have asked you, Tanya, I was like, are there even any Corvettes running? Because I don't even remember seeing them on TV. It was like, and then I spotted the red one and I was like, oh, there is a Corvette running at Le Mans.
There's a couple, weren't there? There are three
Yeah,
of them?
there were, but they were just, nobody was paying attention to them
No one paid
because
attention to anything.
they're privateers, right? So you're just like, whatever, who cares? It's all Pratt and Miller.
Yeah, I was a little surprised by that because, usually you have your better racing in that class that's going on because they're banging on each other and going at it from drop of the flag. I was a little surprised by that. They weren't paying much attention to it as intently as they normally do.
And then there was a big battle that somehow we all missed it that happened in the GT3 class. That's what it's called now, right? Between Porsche and Ferrari. And that ended with AF Corsa in second place.
Yeah, Manti won.
Exactly. But that was a good battle, but they hardly ever
Yeah.
showed it on TV. It was ridiculous.
Well, the one, unfortunately, in the other class, Valentino Rossi's team that he's running with, those BMWs, I mean, they're good. I mean, he can drive. There's no doubt about that. And that's a strong team. And it sucked that they got knocked out like they did.
Yeah.
That was unfortunate. That would have been cool to see him win at Le Mans in a car. And I thought it would have been a great story.
Well, that happened last year too, where they got knocked out or the car broke or something. So that's
Wow.
2 years in a row disappointment for Valentino Rossi.
That's unfortunate. But hey, got another year to go. Well, I mean, how old is he? 44, 43? I mean, he's still young. He's got plenty of time.
He's not as old as Alonso, so he's still got time.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of
He's
time.
older. I think he's older because he is 46.
Lies. Alonso's like 62 years old. Come on now.
Alonso's only 43.
Oh, I don't believe that at all. So I'm going to throw this out there for you guys to debate. We know that WEC is multi-class racing. We know that IMSA is multi-class racing. But when you get to Le Mans and you start looking at LMP1, GTP, whatever it's called this week, right? LMD, LMDH, yada, 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 yada. But that's why it gets confusing. Because inside of P1, you have like 4 other classes running together. Hypercar, hybrid, LMP1, and then you've got stuff normally aspirated, not that like the Aston Martin Valkyries. So there's this sort of weird mixed class at the top of the totem pole. And so we even talked about it this weekend. Should they regulate P1 or make it an unlimited class? Brad, what do you think?
Unlimited.
Tanya has popcorn in her mouth.
I have no comment on this.
What? How?
She's reserving her comments for F1.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, we'll get to that. So, William, GTP, what do we think? Should it be an unlimited class? Let them just do what they're doing.
Unlimited. Go nuts.
Let the engineers go wild.
Yes.
Put the accountants away and let the engineers go crazy.
Yeah. Just say, all right, here's your engine capacity. That's it. Let everything else just go nuts.
Like in the 70s, 5 liters,
Yes.
do whatever you want after that.
Do whatever you want. Open up your checkbooks and have at it. Or, I mean, if you cap it, I mean, hey, it's let the engineers go crazy. I think that level, that's what that should have. I mean, yeah, there's a couple things here and there maybe trickle down 10 years after the fact into road cars. But I mean, that's your premier racing. And reality is the manufacturers getting into it is all about the powertrain. It's not about the car. It's just about the engine, the powertrain. Here, have at it, experiment, do what you want. Bam, there you go. There's your reliability test, everything like that. So I think that's what they should do is just figure out some engine parameter, stick with that, then let everything else just go nuts. I will say that Valkyrie sounds amazing.
Right? And I think there were a lot of people rooting for that. And they got DQ'd right away, like back of the pack, back with Penske, and they were done. But like, who cares at that point? I don't even remember what the infraction was that caused them to start at the back of the pack. But I was like, that's pathetic. I'm like, really?
Too awesome.
That sounds very French, Brad.
Ta voiture est trop géniale.
Too awesome. Back at the pack.
It's too awesome. They should have made him a honorary Garage 56 car, and then they could have won their own class, and it would have been all right.
Was there a Garage 56 car?
No, that's so seldom that they do that. It's got to be something really ridiculously different.
Like a Camaro.
Well, yeah.
Like a
NASCAR
Camaro.
Yeah.
All right, so the GTP P1 field keeps getting bigger. Like, this is the biggest it's been in a long time. Not as big as the 70s and the 80s, where you basically had two classes running at Le Mans, prototypes and 935s. That's pretty much what the 70s boiled down to. It's getting bigger, and they're talking about more brands coming, right? Hyundai/Genesis, Ford's coming. And then we were talking about it, like, when is the shoe going to fall and Mercedes is going to throw in a car? And then, Lambo's supposed to have a car that qualifies in that class, not just in GTD. If that's the case, Brad, your favorite class, Jackie Chan's going to be sitting only in the grandstands. He's not going to be able to campaign an LMP2 car. Are you okay with that?
Yes.
Yes.
It's like pop quiz. Which class gets the least amount of TV coverage during a Le Mans race over 24 hours? LMP2. I'm personally not sad if LMP2 goes away. It would be cool to make LMP2 a support race where it's like they run for maybe 4 hours or 6 hours the day before or something, whatever, just get them out of the way. But if the P1 class gets so big, there's just not going to be enough space. Or we're going to have like 90 cars running at Le Mans.
How is there not enough space? It's an 8-mile track. How many cars do they fit on Watkins Glen? Like, what's the ratio? How many cars per mile?
20 per mile or something.
Okay, so 20, yeah. So at that point, okay, was that 160 cars?
We got plenty of space then.
Yes.
Just keep adding. Bring back P3 as well. We'll be all right. I don't know. I personally would like to see P2 go away just because they don't get enough love. And it would be cool to have like a dedicated coverage just for them and get excited about a spec race because that's what it is. They're either Orecas or they're Ligers, and the power plant is like Gibson or Judd. It's very watered down to like, this is the formula and that's it. And then, none of the drivers really get any airtime. And at the end, you're like, oh, wow, somebody won P2. Like, that's fantastic.
This sounds like a support race for a NASCAR race. Gibson and Judd. You got a Gibson in there or Judd? I got the Judd in mine. Oh, we got the Gibson over here.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what is the point of LMP2? I mean, what is the point?
And I could be wrong, sort of like almost like a feeder system into the bigger classes that exist, like the Hypercar and GTP and all that. But it also helped keep the racing sort of going when there were only Toyota and Toyota and Toyota. There was nobody else.
I think the LMP2 class was strictly a cash grab for the gentleman drivers.
That's not far off.
No.
They needed to fund it somehow.
Are there any gentleman drivers qualified to run in P1? I think they all have to be platinum, right?
I would hope you'd be platinum at that point.
Like, you can't be a bronze driver at that level. I got to check the rule book.
I mean, like to think.
Yeah, I can't think of any gentleman drivers because even Ben Keating ran P2 and GT cars. That's the only thing he's been able to do as a gentleman driver. And I don't think anybody is able to run P1 if they're not like a pro driver.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, like I said, Toyota. Let's talk about Cadillac for a second. Another car that sounds fantastic. Not as good as Aston, but it's damn good. It goes back to qualifying, hyperpole, all that stuff. Was Ferrari and Porsche sandbagging? Is that what we've concluded here?
I don't think so. They even admitted that Cadillac was, over one lap was fast. It was just sort of long distance runs. So I don't know what happens to the car if I'm doing one lap to say doing lap 20 on it. Tires, those things last how many stints they were doing on set. I mean, nothing's changed on that car from, one lap to 10 laps. So I don't know. I guess maybe they were. I don't know. I don't think they were, but if you're looking at big picture, who gives a shit about hyperpole? It's the race win that you want. I mean, as long as you're starting up front.
Well, and that's just it, right? Cadillac's on the pole, and by the first pit stop, it's like, "Ooh, see y'all
Yeah.
later, 14th spot." Like, what the heck happened? Like, completely fell apart. And that's where I was. And to your point, unlike a Formula One race where we try to win by the first corner, in most cases, Le Mans is not won in the first corner or the first lap or in the first hour because it's all day. You really got to stretch those cars out. And you're right about the tire stints. They were saying Porsche was doing 13 laps per stint, and then they're triple stinting the tires. So they're getting, we'll round it down to 36 laps on a tire, which that's a lot of miles at nearly 9 miles, on a set of slicks. That's pretty damn good. They're really making the use out of that rubber.
Yeah, that public school math. Yeah, 36 laps.
That's why Brad's my number guy.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe the fact was too is just in traffic, that thing, especially in the beginning, your first few hours, you're so clustered. It just wasn't there with it. It couldn't, who knows? But yeah, it was a little bit surprising that it dropped off that much that fast.
Yeah,
it was a bit surprising.
It was. So I don't know if you guys noticed or not. This was the first Le Mans since 22 that it hasn't rained during the race. It was a completely dry race, which unfortunately, in my opinion, made it kind of boring.
Yeah, wet weather always adds a little excitement to things.
A little spice.
Yeah.
Even a night racing, because it was so dry, was just like, okay, yeah, whatever. They're just doing lap.
Wow. Well, let's just hope it's dry in 2 weeks.
Yes. Oh, so speaking of the classics, got some inside baseball from people that were at the viewing party. They were telling me that the way classic is formatted, so we were under the impression they're just going to send out everything from the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang to the Mazda 787B, and they're just going to run for 24 hours straight. No. It's all broken up. There's all these car corrals, like where all the Porsches are parked, and then the Porsche members come, and then they said there'll be Ferrari parking lots of 400 or 500 cars alone. So they said you can spend all day just looking at cars in the parking lot, let alone what's going on track. And then what they do is they break it down like Goodwood, and they run them by classes for a certain period of time. And so certain classes run during the day, and then other ones only run at night. And so they run cars throughout the 24 hours nonstop, but they're going out on track and they're coming in and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've seen how that was getting set up, which I thought it's nice because you get to see everything run and you can see the different, everything like that. And because like they only run for like 2 hours or 4 hours per class, something like that, which is nice too, is because then the break you have between them, other stuff getting separate like that. I don't know. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be sweet.
So you mentioned the Ferrari three-peat at the beginning. Congratulations to them, but not going to talk about the disqualification of the number 50 car?
That's your job. What's up?
Did you know that it was
I
disqualified?
heard about it today, as a matter of fact.
So the number 50 car, which finished in 4th place, apparently got disqualified for being unsafe or possibly having an unfair speed advantage because 4 bolts were missing from the rear wing.
Yeah. You start reading into it. It's like, huh?
And it's like, okay, so 4 bolts were missing. It was unsafe. And yet the car drove for 24 hours without anything happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me explain how this collusion works, okay? The fact that the 51 car did that ridiculous pirouette going into the pit lane. Remember that? Where they were like, they weren't sure if they were going to give him a penalty or not. They had just given Sebastian Bourdais a penalty for doing the same thing, running over the white line. Pierre Guidi comes in smoking hot into the pit, locks it up, spins it around, hits the curb, all this stuff. And then nobody says a word. He comes in the pit, changes his tires, goes back out. Everybody's they're like, oh man, we're going to get like a, whatever, 10-second penalty like they would do in Formula One. And they went the whole race and nobody said anything. The officials were like, it's under investigation, blah, blah, blah. And then there was never any talk about it ever again. And we were watching the official feed from France. So you're getting all like the extra stuff coming through that versus the televised stuff on HBO. Okay, so they went radio silent on the Ferrari. And I think this was their opportunity. They found something else and they said, we didn't get you the first time because, we couldn't. But now we're going to get you and we're going to get you really good. So collusion.
On the car that didn't do it.
Yeah. Well, and apparently, too, the claim, I guess, is like the final 37 minutes is where this all matters. And it was lap 380 of 387, where it made its highest top speed. And therefore, the loss of those bolts, the deflection of that wing allowed it to, they were falling back. They got no competitive advantage.
They were in 4th place, for crying out loud.
Does it even matter? 4th place and falling back. I don't know. I mean, rules are rules. I get it.
I think Christian Horner made a phone call. He hates Ferrari so much. He made a phone call. He was watching the race. He's like, "This is unfair advantage.
That's awesome.
Check the bolts." He sent a
the
text
bolts.
message. Check the bolts.
Was that before or after Ferrari called him up asking if they want to take Frazier's spot on the
Oh, yeah.
for
God. As we kind of tail out the Le Mans talk, and we're going to talk a little bit more about related motorsports here, because we need to do a little comparison shopping. Let's talk about the Simeone event, Tanya. You came up for a good portion of the first day, and what did you think?
Yeah, it was a good event. I was a little bit surprised, actually, and maybe I shouldn't have been, I don't know, but by the number of people that were there. I'm surprised how many people know of the place, I guess, and maybe that's not fair to them, but it's definitely a hidden gem, I think, because very few, if basically anyone else, does live demos of historic vehicles, basically, right?
Only other one that's like this is Revs down in Florida.
I think that's pretty interesting, and it's more attention grabbing for people than just kind of walking around and reading a placard next to a car and moving on. So it was nice to see that number of foot traffic that went through. I think there's potential in the event to be something more. I know it's their third year running it, so hopefully every year. I didn't participate in the first 2 years, so I don't know how this compares versus those. Hopefully it's been a somewhat of a step change progress, kind of better and better every year. But yeah, I would probably go again.
So let me hit you with some staggering numbers. According to my sources, because remember, people rolling in and rolling out.
Yes.
So it's really hard to keep track of
Yes,
who
it
was there and who wasn't there. And every time they did a demo, the chairs that they had set up, they were full. And then there are people outside, there's people watching the race, there's people walking around. I mean, just people everywhere. So somewhere between 800 to 1,000 people rolled through in 24 hours.
Wow, that many.
And I didn't realize this because, we were doing our little thing at the ACO booth and talking to potential members. Why should I join? And what's the club about? And they even gave us, 15 minutes up on stage to talk about and promote the club. And I did that with one of our fellow club members and whatnot. We had 60 new registrants.
Oh, sweet. That's outstanding.
Right? So I was like, when did that happen? We made it easy for people. Here's a QR code, fill out the form, put in your credit card, boom, you're a member, you're done. We obviously helped some people do that were struggling a little bit with, their cell phones or whatever. But I was like 60. I was like, holy smokes, that's incredible. The intent wasn't to really necessarily be a membership drive, but that's awesome for the ACO to grow like that, in one day.
Yeah, that's huge. That's a great statistic there to have that happen. That says a lot in regards to, one, the interest and it's gaining momentum, but two, I think the venue helped immensely too, as compared to last year.
Yeah.
I should have got in my car and drove there Friday night.
I told you it was doable.
Pouring rain Saturday, didn't even go.
Oh, man.
It was raining. It was like, coming down buckets. I go, I ain't going. I was like, I should have got my damn car and drove. It's like, son of a bitch.
We had off and on rain, and I got to hand it to the curators at the Simeone Foundation. Come hell or high water, they are running those cars outside. Cars are coming in soaked. They left a GT40 Mark II parked outside most of the day, just sitting out in the rain, like whatever. And then at one point, the Hippie 917 was out there with it, just sitting out there. And then they bring it in when they needed to. And there was some prototype Ferrari 250 pontoon fender, which I've heard estimates anywhere between $20 and $50 million in value. And they're like, yeah. They took that thing like 3-4 times. They're running around 50, 60 mile an hour. And it's like, you're killing me. But it's good to see a museum that, to Tanya's point, isn't static.
Yes.
Everything else is just model cars in a big box.
Does Simone have land around there where they can expand the outdoor? Because I know they just do it in the parking lot. They do it, but it's not that big. So I don't know if there was actually room where they could potentially grow it. Could be cost prohibitive.
There's a train that runs directly behind the parking lot.
Oh, all right. Yeah, that won't help.
Amazon owns the other side. So unless they give up their lot, which apparently is huge, then they got nothing.
And they're sandwiched in between other businesses.
Yeah, it's back behind basically Philly Airport.
Well, the great thing is they're continue on and growing even after he passed. You see a lot of these things, the person that was driving force behind it, pushing it, but the money, everything like that, they died and it closes up. Look at, what's her names? They had all those plans for all the, over at Bicester in England, all this stuff, and he dies and everything, sell it all.
Yeah.
So that's good to see.
To your point about acquisitions, they just acquired another car. They added one to the collection. They revealed it Saturday night. It's 1952 Nash. It was the car that won the first 12 hours of Sebring. I tell you what, it's gorgeous. It's this pewter gray. It looks so sharp. It's got the typical Nash race car with the triple headlights shaped like a triangle in the front, so it kind of makes that shape. It's nice straight six. Sounded so good. I was like, oh man, they just ran that thing out there for a while and then bring it in. And they actually used that car in the morning to like wake everybody. They literally drove it around the inside of the museum to like wake everybody up. It's like, what the heck is going on?
No, that's awesome. I'll be there next year.
And well, and because you weren't there, I didn't get a chance to really take any video. We were so busy doing other stuff. And then finally, like, hey, I want 10 minutes to watch the race, do this, eat, and all that kind of thing. I did take the time to film the Hippie 917. And so that'll be in the show notes for people to check out. That car is just so cool. And then on top of it all, to have one of its previous owners there to talk to people about it, to talk about it, experiences and this and that. And then we had him up on stage. We had Harley Cluxon, the owner of Mirage. That's all the Golf livery cars like the GT40 behind you and all that. We had him there to do a live evening with a legend, which is usually, our private Zoom sessions that we do with the ACO members. So that was really cool. It was a packed house for that too. It's like, where did all these people come from at 7 o'clock at night? That was awesome. So unfortunately, I didn't take as many videos. We've got a bunch of photographs and stuff we can share, but very cool experience. Even if you've never been there before and you don't want to wait till next Le Mans, look at their demo schedule, pick something that resonates with you because they'll do 4 or 5, half a dozen cars, and you get to kind of see how the museum works on a basic level, and then just extrapolate that out to 4 or 5 cars every other hour for 24 hours. I mean, it's just constant motion at the museum.
Set it up. Let's go. Got plenty of time this summer. Set it up. I'll be there. I got the map and everything already on my phone.
I'm down to clown, William. I'm ready anytime you are. All right. Ferrari three-peats at Le Mans. How come Ferrari Formula One can't build a car that's worth a damn? I'm just going to lay it out there.
F1 is getting very, very boring.
You don't say.
Especially watching Monaco. That's just a joke. Charles Leclerc, however you want to pronounce his name, Charles, whatever, he'll never be anything.
Other than angry.
Yes, angry little Frenchman. I'm sorry, Manganese or however you pronounce that.
Monegas.
I think Lewis Hamilton's past his prime. New regulations come in next year, and it's either hit or miss because then you're always chasing it. But it's whoever can nail it right out of the thing is going to win. I mean, look what Mercedes did. Then all of a sudden now it's Red Bull came into it. Now all of a sudden it's McLaren. McLaren just got it, refined it, and nailed down the little things to it. But now all of a sudden next year it's completely new regulations. I always look at both sides and say, well, if you look at qualifying that, it's either no more than second or second and a half between lap times. And everyone's always in 10/10, this and that. But then you watch the race and everything spreads out and just why they can't get their shit together. And I just can't believe they would get rid of Vasseur that quickly. Yeah. And put it all on him. Come on. Whoever nixed the idea of bringing Newey and not just, here's the checkbook, Adrian, how much you want, whatever you need, get it. Why they didn't sign him, I don't know. Someone's ego got in the way. They didn't want to have him there. And I don't know if it was Vasseur or whoever it was, but that was a huge F up on their part for not getting Adrian Newey. Huge. Especially next year, Aston Martin comes out and starts just crushing it. Heads will roll because that'll just prove the point. I mean, as we all know, Adrian Newey's just, he's the man. That's that. And they'll have Honda engines, so they'll have the power. How they can still call themselves Aston Martin is beyond me. I mean.
So, Tanya, you have this meme here.
Well, it's not a meme, it's a quote.
Who's saying this?
Fred Vasseur, apparently.
And who is he referring to, himself?
I don't know who the one thing is. Is it the car at this point? The motor?
Why don't you read it for our audience? Because they're not looking at this.
Fred Vasseur is quoted as saying, "We must ask ourselves the right questions if Ferrari hasn't won for years. We've changed the team principal, the drivers, we've changed everything except one thing."
Is that his resignation? Like, what is that?
Well, he's the principal that's changed, so they've already done that. I don't know. Is it higher ups in Ferrari?
I think he's talking about their mentality, I would think. But I mean, obviously there's more than that needs to change. But the problem with Ferrari is they're so bureaucratic in regards to how they run everything internally. It's horrendous.
How is the Le Mans team? How are the 499P guys getting away with it? They built a killer car
I
3
don't know.
years in a row.
You said it already. They're not a factory team. They're a privateer.
Mm.
And if they poach the guy that's running that now and put him in charge and get rid of Vasseur and put him in, then okay, then there goes your Le Mans team. They're done.
Yeah.
If they're trying to say that's the case.
Then they both suck.
Yeah. Then they're both bad.
That's why I said Ferrari has to leave Le Mans after this year. They need to stop and go out on a high, 3 in a row, wait another 52 years to come back and just call it a day.
I feel like that's cowardly lion. They can't do that. If Ford's coming in next year, they've got to go against Ford. They have to.
We need a new movie. Ford versus Ferrari, part 2.
Part two. It'll be like Hot Shots.
Dardu. Yeah.
Part two.
Hot Shots Part 2. It's awesome.
The second one.
As long as it doesn't end up like Highlander Part 2. Never mind.
Like the Naked Gun 2.5 or whatever it
Well,
was.
there is a new Naked Gun coming out. Let's not go there.
Yeah, right.
Oh, sweet.
Don't search for that on the internet, kids. So let's talk about Monaco just a little bit longer, although it doesn't need any more airtime than it's already gotten.
The drivers hate the race.
The fans hate the race.
Why are they still racing there? Other than that, quote, it's Monaco. And who gives a crap?
What's that musical? Tradition!
Fiddler on the Roof.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't even think it's got anything to do with tradition. I think it's money.
Oh yeah. Now moving the date too. They changed it all up. Not going to be on Memorial Weekend anymore. Yeah, it's just a cash grab. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what it boils down to. Using that excuse. Oh, it's tradition. Oh, Tanya said everyone hates it there. Drivers hate it. Teams hate it. The cars are too big. There's no passing. There's nothing.
And they tried to make it more interesting by forcing additional pit stops, and it did
Yeah.
nothing. It did absolutely nothing. It did not change the
It made it
order of
worse.
anything.
That should have been a no pit stop race. Just get it
And
done.
there should have been black flags
Ugh.
for people. They were just worse than parade lapping and
So
holding
bad.
people up. Like, get out of the way.
I think for Monaco, I think they should, like Eric said, no pit stops and then remove all FIA regulations. Just let them go. Just the Mad Max race.
That would be awesome.
Thunderdome.
And every 10 laps, they got to switch cars with their teammate. They got to jump in each other's car.
That would make it way better. Be like Formula E in the old days. Got to
Yeah.
switch cars.
Yeah.
And they should start a reverse grid.
There we go.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And then maybe every 20 laps, the drivers get out and fight. They get out into a fist fight.
If they did reverse grid, that might be the only opportunity Lance Stroll will ever win a race.
Lance Scroll.
Lance Scroll.
If they would have reverse gridded Monaco, Antonelli would have been first.
That's true. Haas could get a win if they reverse grid. It'd be amazing.
They still wouldn't get a win.
I'm impressed with Haas this year. I have to say, like, they're kind of middle of the pack. There's no reason to really make fun of them anymore. And there's other teams where you're like, all right, Sauber's just there waiting for Audi to take over, and Aston Martin's pathetic, and Williams is sort of, again, fighting in the middle. So I can't really say too much. But the ones I poke the most fun at is Ferrari, and it's heartbreaking. Every race is pathetic. I don't understand. They're dog shit slow. That's all I can say. I don't understand. Like DRS, wide open, drafting somebody, and you still can't get around
Which
them.
race was it? Catalunya? I don't remember, but I know you didn't believe me for the longest time when I said the Ferraris are slow. Like, there is a problem with them. And then you saw it when it was like Hamilton versus Leclerc, and the DRS open.
Couldn't pass him.
Leclerc couldn't pass Hamilton with the DRS open. What are you talking about? And then
Yeah.
you see like whoever the hell else Haas with their DRS open, and they like shoot by somebody. It's like, what is that? It's an air brake instead of like a speed up.
It was team orders.
Yeah. To get on the radio. Let him by. Why? Made
You
no
know
sense.
why? Because you end up like Lando in Canada. That's why.
Oh.
What a knucklehead. Like, what was he thinking?
That guy is his own worst enemy, and he chokes. He chokes.
What a knucklehead.
Yeah.
Where do you think you were going?
Yeah.
That was a iRacing move. Like, he was suddenly going to have traction and space on an island that is the size of Brad's shoe.
Well, he must have thought Piastri was just going to move over for him, because Piastri held his line. He didn't move to the left. He didn't pinch him off. He was in a position and he held that position. And then he thought he was just going to fit in half the size of a Formula One car.
Maybe he thought he was going to pull that. What's that guy did the NASCAR move where he just pinned it against the wall and just pinned it and went around. He figured he'd slam the wall and go.
No, like the Cars movie where he bounces up and then he flips over and lands on the other side. Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah, there we go.
Fantastic.
Uh,
Some James Bond stuff. Canada was boring, just like Monaco, because it's too small, it's too tight, it's just one car width wide. I mean, it's just That's another one that it's tradition. They run Canada because they have to have a Grand Prix in Canada, I guess.
Well, I thought they were getting away from that track. I thought they were supposed to go.
Where to Mosport?
I thought they were moving away from the island for that reason. Because one, boring racing. Two, accessibility. Because it's a nightmare in regards to
Yes.
there's only those two ways or one way to get on and off that island.
Well, and you got to get bussed on.
You
Yeah.
can't park there. There's no grandstands.
Well, there are grandstands. Stop saying that. You saw them.
Compared to Coda, there's like no grandstands. There's like nothing. There might as well be 3 chairs and 10 people like playing, musical chairs.
I always thought they were moving it to downtown or something like that. They're going to do
Oh,
actual.
that'd be even worse. We went to Montreal a couple years ago. The streets downtown,
Oh, they're horrendous.
it might as well be Jeep Wranglers racing, not Formula cars.
Well, not even that, but Montreal is very grid laid out. Plus, city courses are all terrible.
Yeah, they're all awful.
Look at Monaco.
They should move it to Toronto and drive around the Sky Dome parking lot.
Oh, that's like what they're trying to do for IndyCar, right? And down in Texas or whatever, down in Dallas,
Yeah.
around the stadium. But then that ends up like Miami, right? And then you're like,
Yeah,
that
that's
track
horrible.
sucks too. Now, I will say I have a newfound appreciation for Catalunya. That was actually a decent race. The Spanish Grand Prix was pretty good. The outcome was nothing short of to be expected. So I was like, all right, whatever. But again, Ferrari can't get out of their own way
Hey, that's the first race they podiumed.
by luck.
How many cars were
Yeah.
DNF'd?
Yeah, disqualified. Exactly.
You know,
Three.
were there 18 cars DNF'd?
And nothing's going to change now for the remainder of the season because no one's doing anything more with their cars this year. It's all going to 2026. There might be 1 or 2 changes here and they're very minimal, but so nothing's really going to change in the order. Piastri's going to be world champion.
The Spanish GP was exciting because we hadn't seen it for a while. We got to see Verstappen's true colors once again.
Oh, that was so good. Oh, man, that was good.
'Cause I wanted him to get somehow, some way, so he got that last point on his license, so he get banned for the next race, get suspended. That'd been awesome.
It's astonishing that at the very least he wasn't DQ'd from that race.
Yeah,
Collusion.
I mean, he pretty much was on the radio saying, I'll show him, and then purposely tried to punt him off the track.
I have said it before. You can take the racer out of the cart, but you can't take the kart racer out of the boy. He drives like a kart
No.
racer.
No, that was not a kart racing move at all. That was an aggressive, vindictive move,
iRacing move.
premeditated because he had all the space in the world not to do that.
I agree with all of those things.
And that sends a bad message to people that are watching.
so you think Red Bull will pay him $100 million next season to stay? That's the only thing that would keep him there is cash.
rumor is he wants to leave.
Saw that too, but
I don't know. Then there's rumors he's gonna go to Aston or he's gonna go to Mercedes or he's gonna go here, he's gonna go there. Really? I don't know. He's gonna go to Aston because Adrian's there.
That's the only reason.
Is he going to be the second driver to Lance?
Yeah,
Yeah.
who do you get rid of? Let's play this game. Who do you get rid of? Stroll or Alonso?
Who does Daddy Warbucks fire?
Well, Alonso's 62 years old, so he needs to retire.
But he's a better driver than Stroll.
well, but Lance can't go do tennis now because of his wrist, so he's stuck in F1.
Yeah.
Oh, poor baby.
And the worst part is, and I've said this by watching the race, Alonso, they like give him a little taste of like being at the front again in the excitement of the old days. And then it's like, Fernando, get back in line and start towing Lance around. Because that's what he's paid to do. He has Lance on his ass the whole time, cutting through traffic and just tows Lance around. That's what he's paid to do. I wouldn't want that job. And if I was Verstappen, I wouldn't want that job either, regardless of Adrian Newey. No, because that's what you're signing up to do, is tow that guy around.
If I was making the money that they're making, I would tow Lance Stroll wherever the fuck he wanted to go for his entire life. I don't even care. You want to tow to McDonald's? Let's go.
Yeah,
You want to tow to Starbucks? You want me to tow you through the Starbucks drive-through?
No. You
Let's
want
do
to tow
it.
to Timmy's, Tim Hortons?
Oh yeah, you want to tow to the Hortons?
Yeah.
Let's get it right. Let's get it right. Official sponsor of the F1 movie is KFC. You're going to tow him to get some Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh hell yeah! Can tow you to KFC.
You seen those commercials?
Is
They're
it
so
KFC? I thought it was
stupid.
Taco Bell. Is
No,
it
it's KFC. Well, it's the same company anyway. KFC, Taco Bell, McDonald's, whatever.
It's all Pepsi.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, so speaking of the movie, is anyone here going to pay to go see it in the theater? They're going to wait till it comes out on Apple.
I have small children. I will not be paying to go see anything.
Oh, it's coming out on Apple? Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Why don't
that's
have
you did it.
Apple?
Yeah. So 4 weeks after it's released, it'll come out on Apple. It should be, or 6 weeks.
I'll get it on Vudu.
Yeah, I just canceled my Apple TV, so yeah, I won't be watching it for another year.
I mean, I think I have a gift card to AMC.
God. God. Well, you're going to do an episode about it if you go see it. I know you're going to go see it, William. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it. But we got this great new theater that opened up that's got the reclining seats and everything, and tickets are only like $11, dirt cheap instead of like the 20 something. Yeah, it's awesome. It's Phoenix Theaters, new first one in this area, I guess, or something. Or they're starting, I don't know, but yeah, it's $10.79 or something like that. That's not just matinee. That's like anytime. It's
Wow.
like at night you can go. It's like me, my wife, and daughter went the other night, saw a movie. All three of us. Tickets were only $32 for all three of us.
Do you have to make your own popcorn in the back?
Well, I mean, I was smuggling my own candy, of course, and my Diet Mountain Dews.
Do you got to stand there and run the reel?
Yeah, well, it's good exercise.
That's why his one arm's bigger than the other.
Yeah. All you have to do is clean up and vacuum after the movie. That's
Oh,
all.
there you go.
And put on a vest and just clean up.
You got to sell concessions to the next movie, the next time slot
Exactly.
too.
It's all give and take.
Yeah.
So, Tanya, you mentioned to me the other day that there are proposed wing changes that means that the Ferraris are going to be even slower. Is that right?
They're just going to remove 4 bolts.
Yeah, there you go. That was a headline that was floating out there, but I think in the end, it does all have to do with the crackdown on the front wing deflection.
Ah, okay.
But I think they ended up changing more of the front wing design as a result of that. And so I think it went into effect ahead of Canada. So I don't know that it necessarily negatively impacted them because they were as slow as normal.
They didn't get any slower. That's a plus.
But that's a slow track, too.
McLaren didn't change anything. From my understanding, they didn't change nothing. Everyone else had to change or they changed it. So then that's why they're trying to file protest, something like that. I said, no, it's within line. I mean, I don't know who the biggest culprit was of that flexi wing.
Adrian Newey.
I'd love to see his, his office and just seeing him going to town on the big drafting table, still using the mechanical pencil and everything. That'd be unbelievable to see.
No, it's like that episode of The Office where he walks in and he shuts the door and he closes the blinds and he sits down and he starts crying at his desk. That's what Adrian is doing at Aston right now.
What'd I do? What'd I do?
That's what he's doing. Well, that wraps up our showcase devoted to Le Mans and Formula One with the undertone of Ferrari mixed in there. If we didn't talk about enough motorsports news, we need to go over the pit wall and quickly add one more topic to our motorsports news this month. And this goes back to the Monaco GP weekend, Memorial Day, Indy 500, Kyle Larson, double fail.
Womp.
This is what I call the Joe Flacco syndrome. Do you remember #1 elite quarterback in the world, Joe Flacco? He would self-proclaimed Kyle Larson. Yes, I get that he's a NASCAR champion, but the same thing, right? I can beat all those Formula One guys. I'm faster than Max Verstappen, blah, 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 whatever, all the other BS, armchair quarterbacking that we all do as racers. But he crashes at Indy, gets on a plane, flies to Charlotte for the Coca-Cola 600 or wherever the heck it was, and then crashes there too, but you're the best driver on the planet.
I'd love to see him get in a Formula car and show that he's better than Max Verstappen.
Yes.
He ain't never going to do that. I'd love to see Verstappen go do the Indy 500 and beat everybody.
He'd be so bored. He'd be like, I've never driven longer than 75 laps. This is ridiculous. Get me out of here. That's it for motorsports news, but we are going to rejoin the conversation next month with reports from Le Mans Classic, from the Hillsborough Concours, more F1, more of everything, because July is an exciting month. So we look forward to more motorsports news in the next drive-through. And remember, folks, that our motorsports news is brought to us in partnership with the International Motor Racing Research Center. Their sweepstakes is back in full swing. And as we've said before, it's your chance to win a 2025 Porsche 911T with a 6-speed manual or take a $75,000 cash option. Details on how you could enter to win that Porsche are at racingarchives.org, and then click on sweepstakes from the upper right corner. And so we should probably get back to our regularly scheduled ranting and raving. And so, William, since you're here with us, normally we would jump into Volkswagen Audi Porsche news, right? Because that's sort of our bias. I decided to switch things up temporarily and switch over to Stellantis because they are the parent company behind, Fiat and Ferrari and all that fun stuff. There was a headline that came out that says, this is from Ferrari, and it reads, "There is zero demand for the next Ferrari EV." And I was like, wait, there was a Ferrari EV?
What was the first Ferrari EV?
Well, first it was going to be the derivative of the new 12 Dolce Cilindri or whatever it was. They're going to do that, but then they realized there's probably no uptake on it. So then they switched it over to the SUV, would have been the Puro Sandway, but EV one. Then they realized nobody wants to buy a freaking electric car. So they're like, forget it. They changed it so many times to figure out what type of car they want to put in. And you see, all the little secret prototype cars coming out. There's a great guy that's Varix, VARIYXX, something, I don't know, that just basically camps out every day outside Maranello and just takes photos of stuff. There were so many different variations and everything, because obviously you can hear it driving with no sound. They had multiple ones that they were just trying to go through, but I think they were thinking they were going to be able to slide in where it would be the uptake would be because of what the car was, a SUV, not a sedan or coupe or what have you. So they kind of kept transitioning. Now they came to realization, just as every other manufacturer in this world did, nobody wants stinking electric cars.
Hybrid is the answer, though.
Yes, it is.
Well, speaking of electric cars and talking more about Stellantis, last month we talked about, yet again, Jeff Bezos, quote unquote, Amazon, coming to the table with the Slate EV, the affordable pickup truck that you can do all this bolting on and make it look like a Bronco or make it look like a Maverick. You can be a pickup, or you can be an SUV, or you can be this, you can be that, for the low bargain basement price of $20,000, and you get roll-up windows and air in your tires and all that fun thing. Well, the CEO of Ram, division of Stellantis, Dodge Trucks used to be, right? He came out and said, there's absolutely no way that they can produce this truck for $20,000. That's a on-paper vehicle when you actually go buy it. So here we go. Here's the bait and switch Tesla model. It's going to end up being $30,000, $40,000 like everything else, because you're going to want the options, and the options aren't going to be cheap. They're not going to give you the Bronco version of the same truck for the same cost as the one without it. It's not going to work. So he's calling them to carpet on the bargain basement truck. And not only that, he comes out saying that this undercuts the rest of the truck market, which is where I have a problem, because now we have the pot calling the kettle black, because big trucks are too damn expensive. What am I getting for $100,000 from your Ram? So we got to sort of meet in the middle here on these trucks at some point.
I like the fact, going back to basics with that, in essence, with the roll-up windows, everything like that. There's no big screen or whatnot. Hey, you use your own phone or whatever, and just ties all in together. Maybe it was when you buy it, it's just a rolling chassis. You got to put in your own engine.
It's like the movie theater. You got to make the popcorn in the back.
Exactly.
I find it hilarious that we're talking about an electric vehicle. The power plant is driven by just one giant battery, and it's going to have roll-up windows.
Those are extra electrons.
That is just completely absurd. Just throw some Duracells in there. Who cares?
There you go.
No, it's like Red Green Show. Remember when he had the cordless drill and he made the manual windows go up and down with his drill? That's how he made power windows. The same thing. Just put a 1/2-inch chuck in there and just
They
done.
just power it with the Ryobi 18 volt.
Done.
Yeah. Stick a couple of those in there.
All your peripherals.
Just throw a couple
Good to
hundred
go.
of those in there and just take them out as they die.
When's that thing supposed to be available? Are they even taking deposits?
Are they taking $100 deposits yet?
The third Saturday of never. That's when it's coming out.
Obviously, he needs some sort of tax benefit for all his money, so he's just dumping into that as a nice write-off.
What comes out first, the Slate, the Scout, or the Tesla Roadster?
Oh, damn. Why you got to do that to me?
Or the DeLorean?
It's got to be the Slate. He's the most liquid cash-wise.
Yeah, the other ones are all pipe dreams.
Tesla's going down the crapper, Mr. Numbnuts.
And remember in Monty Python, and the people rejoice. "Hey!"
Yeah. Talk about way to sink your own company. Just start doing what that moron did.
Well, what is it that Elon said when the Cybertruck finally rolled out? We signed our own death certificate or something like that.
It's the best vehicle ever.
yeah, with the salute. Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Well, in Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche land, there's been some shuffling of the deck. There has been for the last couple of years. It all started, in my opinion, when they fired the guy who designed the ID Buzz and all the new retro cars that they were coming out with. It's all just been this round robin of CEOs and design chiefs and this and that. And we know Volkswagen is just putting out stuff that nobody wants. But unfortunately, this has become systemic. And now this plague that has infested Volkswagen is finding its way over to Audi. And they released what their new design language is going to look like for the next generation Audis, which are coming out basically later this year into next year. And, oh God.
It's ugly.
This is the ugliest Passat I've ever seen. And I think you said on Discord, why did they bolt the GTI front end to the Audi?
It was more like F. They did that.
It's really bad. And if this is what the new Audis are going to look like, you're really going to have a hard time telling them apart from the Lexi and the new BMWs and everything else that's on the road. They just look like anything else. And in profile, this particular car looks a lot like the old Passat. Oof, no thank you.
Well, even the hood, the shape, it's a little bit flatter than the new Golf, but the new Golf, they made it very almost more Beetle-like. And that's not a good thing actually for either of these cars. I don't know. It's disappointing. I definitely.
And the reason I bring this up is Audi is selling or has sold by this point Italdesign. So put it all together. They're getting rid of one of the most famous Italian design houses of the modern era. And this is what they've come up with because they weren't happy with maybe whatever Italdesign was coming up with. You guys are making the biggest mistake of your lives. I guess this is the bangle period for Audi. That's what's coming. But we'll see. I could be proven wrong. It's been known to happen.
Yes. So
Well, what is this? Do I see some Swedish meatballs on the list?
we have some Volvo news, which we don't normally have.
Ever.
Now, this is less about a new car coming out and more about a new technology. And I don't know
What is
that
this?
I feel good about it. So, Volvo obviously has a long history and a long reputation for safety, right? They were the first to invent, I believe, the 3-point safety belt for cars back in the day. Now they've come up with a new innovation to the seatbelt. And it very much worries me when the words over the air updates and in my seatbelt
Ooh.
are used in the same sentence.
Ooh, that's bad.
That makes me really uncomfortable. So we can just start there. That's where this is going. So apparently, they're introducing a new seatbelt design that essentially is completely sensor based to the level that it's going to detect your height, your weight, your body shape, how you're sitting in your seat. It's going to take that data, aggregate it, do whatever, and it's going to optimize the tension, the load of the belt for you.
What?
You invented the seatbelt like 60 years ago or more, and it's worked pretty well. I mean, granted, depending on the accident, there's some things you can't survive, but for the most part, the 3-point belt with the design of the seats and how they crumple, everything works, safety as a system. And as you can learn about in other previous podcasts, it all works together. This is an over designing, solving a problem that doesn't exist.
I have a couple points.
Oh.
One, to Tanya's point, it's a cash grab. They can't make money on the old seatbelt design and they can't sell cars because they suck. So they're looking for a cash grab to try and revolutionize the wheel. They're trying to remake the wheel. Also, looking at the exploded view of the parts and everything, this thing has more parts than my Tundra motor. And at what point are they going to send this information about your seatbelt and if you're wearing it properly to the authorities where they can send you an over-the-air ticket
Yep.
for not having your seatbelt properly secured or
link it to your insurance?
Yeah, and then again, oh, you weren't wearing your seatbelt for 35 milliseconds on February 4th, 2028. You get a $50 fine and we're going to drop your insurance.
And they're opening themselves up to data privacy because now it's recording your personal information that's going to be stored somewhere, let's say, that's hackable by someone. I don't know. It's the modern world we're in, the Internet of Things.
I have a bigger question to ask. How much does this seatbelt contraption weigh?
A lot, I'd imagine.
There's a lot of moving parts on this.
It looks like a transmission. It looks like these are gears.
Imagine one of those parts fails.
It is ridiculous.
One of these little components fails, and then what? Your seatbelt doesn't work properly, and then you
Do you
die?
have to take the car in for seatbelt maintenance now? Like, is that going to be part of your dealership plan? How much is this going to cost?
Is there like an oil change on your seatbelt? You got to keep those parts lubricated.
We used to make fun of muffler bearings. Those are a real thing. If you have a baffled exhaust, there's bearings in the exhaust.
There might be a lot of bearings in this seatbelt assembly.
They're going to release it on December 31st, 2025, and they're going to have the first mass recall on January 1st, 2026.
Jeez Louise, this is ridiculous. Switching gears and talking about domestic cars, some sad news. This is specifically with Ford, but hot hatches are officially dead at Ford.
Wait, they're officially dead now and not like already 10 years ago?
No. The final hot hatch was built at Ford. That's it.
Ford America or Ford Europe?
Globally, there are no more hot hatches, period. So after 45 years of hot hatches at Ford,
So Ford is exiting the European market.
that's what I'm reading between the lines. Yes.
So no more car.
None. Done.
Nothing.
No more hatchbacks.
Okay, cool. Bold plan, Cotton.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out for you. That's a shame because B-spec cars like the Fiesta are hot. They're in demand. People like them. They want them. And then, slightly bigger the Focus, stuff like that. But yeah, no, they're done. They're out.
Are they still running Fords in rally? And what does this do to the rally teams?
Yeah, so they're running the Puma in rally, which is a hatchback as well. It's slightly bigger than even the Focus, a little lower, a little longer, but still a hatchback, in that design. But yeah, the Puma's gone too. So I'm curious what Ford's going to run in WRC if they don't kind of keep the Puma going along for a little while, but maybe they're going to pull out.
They're going to run a Mach-E.
Yeah, okay.
Well, they have their new super duper EV car that they're building to take on Volkswagen's Pikes Peak record.
Good luck chasing the IDR up the mountain. That was a hell of a run.
Oh,
But
I see.
Ford is trying on all fronts because the Mustang GTD just set its quote unquote lightning lap at the Nürburgring. And I said to myself, does this even matter anymore? With the change in the automotive landscape and EVs and all that kind of stuff, I don't know an EV that can do a lightning lap at the ring because the ring's so long. I guess they've done it in a Tesla, but they get like one lap, right? Or two at maximum. And I guess the Taycan would be the only other one. But is it really important anymore that a Mustang can do a fast lap at the ring?
How many spectators did it hit around the track?
What a
The
big
lap
zero.
time's not.
Yeah. How many spectators did it hit at the track? Oh my God. Yeah. So, I mean, good for Ford. They're trying. And the Mustang competed at Le Mans, another car that didn't really get a lot of airtime over the weekend. So, actually, sort of forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, there's Mustangs running in GTLM or GT3 rather. But anyway, good for Ford. Get rid of the hot hatchbacks, focus on the Mustang if that's where you think your market is, and sell trucks. Boom, done. So, switching to Asian domestic news, I'm just going to read this headline. Nissan's new budget sedan was just leaked online.
A new Altima design? What?
Right?
They don't make anything else.
Exactly. So I guess there's a new Altima coming.
What is this rendering? What is this trash?
This is what Nissan can afford right now, okay?
Oh my
It's
God.
that bad. It's really
It
bad.
also looks like a Tesla or a Lucid or something.
It's awful.
We all are copying each other, so as per usual. So
It'll look like the new Audi, so we won't be able to tell the difference.
I read that headline completely different. I read it as it just leaked online, meaning like there needs to be a cleanup of someone's oil all over the internet.
Well, Toyota's doing some math. How about this? 9 million EVs are just as polluting as 27 million hybrids.
I'd like to see their life cycle analysis.
This is the Jeremy Clarkson life cycle analysis. Remember that thing he did on Top Gear where he showed like where the batteries for a Prius came from and like the strip mining and this and that, and then it gets transported here and then it gets put on a ship, and by the time it's done,
Yeah.
it goes around the world 3 times.
Yeah. And then when the car is finally destroyed or whatever, where it all goes, that is a true life cycle analysis. It is called cradle to grave. That means from the very beginning, inception of where all the parts come,
Mhm.
all the way to where all the parts go when the thing is no longer functioning anymore. A lot of people choose to draw the box that they say their life cycle is around a different part of that whole manufacturing chain. And that's where the math can get kind of funny. And that's
Mhm.
where statistics and numbers and all that kind of stuff, you can play around and have the data say what you want it to say if you don't know what the fine print of the data is. So I don't know what the basis of this is.
I mean, if he's basing it on the fact that those 9 million EVs, they're getting their materials by colonizing Mars, then yes, obviously the Priuses are better for the environment.
I mean, it goes back to the argument that some people have made from the onset of the EVs that the actual manufacture of them is the polluting part. Though there is data that I have seen, it comes down to what your manufacturing process is, right? It's not as simple as just saying, oh, I made an EV and it's super polluting and horrible, and the manufacturing process was worse than, the oil refining in a gas car and all this stuff. Because if you had renewable as your energy source for making the car, then suddenly that's a whole other can of worms. But then you could argue, well, if I had renewable for when I made the regular gas car, that's a whole other can of worms. But you still got the oil refining part of there, which is a problem.
Right.
So it's a very dynamic situation, really. And nobody ever actually explains or shows where the data comes from and what's behind these claims, other than they're very sensational. I mean, that's very stark to say. 9 verse 27.
I'd sort of like my math from earlier. Any rate, slight public service announcements. If you are a Mazda owner, there is a recall underway for all Mazda 3s and CX-30s because apparently we never learned our lesson about Takata airbags. So that's really all I need to say about that.
Well, they got them at a discount.
Fire sale.
You notice they're in the cheap Mazdas.
Yeah.
Not the CX-90 or whatever, not the more expensive ones, the cheap ones, budget friendly.
Well, speaking of budget friendly, Brad, it's time we go and look under Lost and Found, your favorite section of the drive-thru where we call up Chuck LeDuc and Gray Chevrolet and see what they have on the lot. And I found something that screams your next purchase. Knowing you sold your R32, got a little cash in your pocket, you should pick up this Oldsmobile Bravada pickup truck.
Bra nada.
This thing is terrible.
I love the license plate.
Cut in half.
Can I ask a serious question?
Sure.
Did Daniel do this?
That's what I was thinking too.
Because this looks like something Daniel would have done.
Right? I got an old GMC Jimmy. I'm going to cut it. No, this is a bad idea from the word go.
Next up is going to be that Mercury wagon he's got up there at the mountain.
Man.
He's going to cut it up into one of these.
This is the question I always seem to be asking myself. What compels people to do this? Because you probably could have bought a flatbed pickup that he's trying to achieve with this at like a government auction for like next to nothing. And yet, how much time, effort, labor?
Built, not bought. Hold my beer.
Yeah, I guess so.
Wait, we're not going to talk about the teeth on the front of it?
What is that about?
That makes it look tough. It's going to eat you up
It's going to cut you in half.
with those teeth.
It's the truck's bravado.
Oh, that's bad.
Womp, womp. That joke was cut in half.
And then, wait, hold on. Okay, wait. So we do all this work.
Uh-huh.
We chop this MFR up.
Uh-huh.
We put the fangs and the vampire teeth on it.
Uh-huh.
And then we leave it this nasty Oldsmobile brown color.
In the catalog that's listed as diarrhea brown.
Okay.
Not only that, you've done all this work to make it a flatbed pickup truck. Looks like something super industrial. It can tow as much as those Cushman carts that we talked about on the last episode. Like, what's the payload on this thing? Like 500 pounds? It can't tow anything. You can't do anything with it. So what's the point?
Can't even put mulch on there.
No, it'll slide
It would
off.
fly out.
But you can weld an engine crane to the back of it, though. And then it becomes like a little tow truck.
Are you trying to do those golf carts from the last time?
So moving on, Lost and Found. Well, guess what? If one of your bucket list cars is a quote unquote Eleanor Mustang from the new Gone in 60 Seconds, because, you know, we always have to differentiate between the original Gone in 60 Seconds, the Mach 1 Mustang that they had in that versus, you know, the 66 Shelby GT500 that they used in the Nicolas Cage movie. If you've always wanted one of those, and you probably know the story about how there's been lawsuits about making Eleanor replicas and copyrights and this and that. Well, guess what? Court has now overturned all the appeals, and replicas of the 66 Shelby GT500 Eleanors are legal, at least for the time being, until the next round of lawsuits. So if you want to build one, now's the time to do it. You're not going to get in trouble for doing it. That's exciting. They're gorgeous.
This is so stupid.
I know, right? William knows all about that on the Porsche side of the house, what you can and can't do and call and can't call, right? That's why Singer can't use Porsche in their name, right? Singer Design.
Yeah, if you ever go to the bottom of Singer page, look how many times they state they're not affiliated, all this stuff. Porsche don't like that at all. That's kind of surprising, though, with this.
It's a very Ferrari thing to do.
Yeah.
Ferrari just doesn't allow you to modify anything. That's a no-no. That's verboten. Speaking of, William, did you see that new baby blue F40 that was redone, that was restored, and they repainted it?
Yeah.
It looks really cool. Like, really good.
I don't know if you watch on YouTube. You ever see the guy from Stance Works? You ever see that guy?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
doing that, building the tube frame, everything. F40's got the paint. I'm excited to see how that thing turns out. I think he's going to do a nice job. I think it's going to turn out sweet. You know, when you get one up there, I mean, have some fun with it. Yeah, but yeah, the baby blue thing is beautiful. Those things look great in other colors, that's for sure.
Yeah, not just red or black.
Not just red or black.
Although they look damn good in black. But anyway, this next one, Tanya, this came across my desk before it came across yours. I was actually hiding this up my sleeve, and then you posted it on a Discord, and I was like, no! She must have a Google filter looking for totally rad things like replacement headsets for a car from 1985. And Pioneer has answered your prayers.
Oh man, I gotta want that so bad, but it's not sold here.
That's
What?
so short-sighted and so stupid.
There are some other, like Blaupunk actually does make something that you can, I believe, buy here. So might have to think about these kind of things in the future. So if you've got an older car where you don't really have any options, it's singled in, it's a tape deck, like what do? And you don't have the dash space to go put something different in, and you just want a more modern looking tape deck that still has a cassette and you need your cassette adapter and all this stuff. Like what? But these Pioneer and also Blaupunk, they've actually made, calling it the retro head unit, and it legit looks like very clean. Not kind of, back in the day, they had all the gaudy singled in unit, and you could take the faceplate off because it was the hotness to, have your radio stolen or whatever. So you could remove the face and it had all the bright neon colors and all the buttons and all that stuff. These are very clean, like almost factory style radios, period appropriate. And the cassette is there, except it's a flap. And when you open it, it's got USB, aux in, come with Bluetooth. It's awesome if you want to keep your car looking period appropriate, but also have modern radio technology, not running around with the wires and the car cassette adapter, trying to use one of those other air over FM transmitters that never really works very well, blah, blah, blah. $500, I think the Pioneer one is, something like that, or 500 euros, which is pretty expensive. But if you've got kind of I don't want to say collector car, but a car from back in the 80s or early 90s even that you really care about, it could be worth spending the money on. And also, a lot of those radios from back then tended to basically die.
Yeah.
Especially the cassette adapters. The cassette portion of them would sometimes break down. You get your cassette stuck, or they would just stop really working. And what do you do? And even the technology of the radios themselves, the receivers aren't very good, and you struggle to get local broadcast channels. So something like this, more modern in your old car, is really pretty cool.
So you're going to get one once you can get one.
Once I can get one, it would look great in the Audi.
Yeah, it would. And that Blaupunk especially looks factory. The Pioneer looks a little chintzy, but the Blaupunk's nice too. It's got SD card reader and a bunch of other features that the Pioneer doesn't. So I approve this message. This is good. Good stuff. Good find.
Make sure you add it to the Christmas special.
Man, 2025 is the year that keeps on giving to our uncool wall. This one came across my desk literally today. Wow. I don't even know what to say about this car.
What did it say? It was something about the sound this makes or something, or the sound you hear. What was that was written with it? Because the sound I heard was
Oh, I said suddenly heard the Inspector Gadget theme song playing.
Oh, yeah, no, I suddenly heard the sound of somebody retching.
This is horrendous. And then I thought about William, and I was like, wasn't there a Ferrari they called the bread van? It was like a Ferrari 250 short wheelbase or something?
Yes, it was built by Count Volpe or whatever because he was pissed off because Enzo wouldn't sell him a 250 GTO. So he wanted to have something that was basically the same thing. So had Bizzarini design and build it to annoy him. That's why I made it a station wagon, bread van. Everyone called it bread van to piss off Enzo. And that thing was fast, man. I think it competed with him. It was good, but it basically was an FU to Enzo is what he did because he wouldn't sell him a GTO.
It sounds like there's a theme there. A lot of people are doing an FU to Enzo.
Yeah.
I mean, this car is an FU to everybody. Like, I understand that the R33 is not necessarily the GTR that everybody wants, but to go spend the money to do this,
it looks like a truck cap on it.
It's wild. Did you guys notice the placement of the sunroof? Who does that benefit?
Not even above the back seats.
I was like, why is it all the way back there? Like, what is this? Maybe this is a really good Photoshop.
Really good Photoshop?
But I have a feeling this is California hot rodding.
If you think about it, if they just grafted that on, so that's all new where that sunroof is, like from the line of the roof line back would be new. So anything they didn't change, they didn't want to cut into the roof of the car itself, the original. They just grafted that on, maybe?
That's awful. And that rear window, the molding too, is like 3 inches thick. It looks like a porthole in a ship. It's awful. But anyway, we'll leave it up to the audience to decide. I am constantly surprised when I log onto the Uncool wall and see all the votes and see how stuff shifts from month to month. Like there are cars now that are people are judging as, these are actually kind of cool. And I'm like, I would have never picked that for the life of me. Like these would have been the bottom of the barrel. Now, the classics are always at the top of the list, right? The Aztec and the HHR and the PT Cruiser and all the usual suspects. But this one, I had to add it to the list. If you want to check out what we're talking about, go to gtmotorsports.org, click on podcasts, and then Uncool Wall, and you can go vote on over 60 cars on our Uncool Wall. All right, we don't have any Tesla news, but we do have what Brad has retitled, Seriously, What Could Go Wrong? And Brad, I need you to share this story with the audience because I heard you got into a fight.
Yeah, you should see the other.
The other mammal?
I heard it was an animal.
You should see the other mammal. Yes. So
Wait. Is this a dashboard confessional?
my family was walking home from the neighbor's house after dinner, minding our own business, just walking through the yard. And this Mike Tyson deer came up and was like, "Give me your lunch money." And we were like, "Nah, fool." And then it just started attacking my kids and my wife. And she jumped on top of the kids to protect them. It tried to trample on her. So I literally hulked it. I went over, I picked it up, like literally lifted this 150-pound deer and threw it. And it kept coming back. So I'm like punching it. I've got my arms around its neck. At some point, I mentally decide that I'm going to kill this deer with my bare hands.
Hulk smash!
You're laughing and you joke. In the moment, it was life or death, and it was not going to be my death. I let it go, was able to scare it off a little bit to get the family inside, but it kept coming back.
Wow.
And I was in my neighbor's yard. I could not find a usable stick as a weapon because he's very good at grooming his yard. I eventually found something, and my neighbor drove, the family back to the house. I walked across the street to make sure that I could have eyes on the deer, but it tracked me all the way back to my door. And eventually I got it to just run off and ran around the neighbor's house. Fast forward, it's terrorizing another family down the street now.
Dang.
And I don't know if anybody follows me on Instagram. I think I've got like 2 followers, but I posted a picture of like my baseball bat that I've had for like 20 plus years. Basically, I walk to and from my office because my office is in my detached garage. I walk to and from my office with the bat.
Wow.
There's the story.
And it's a female deer, right?
Yes, it's a doe, a deer, a female deer.
It's not like those shows on National Geographic when deers attack. It's usually like some other large predator. Is it the color of your car that like pissed off this deer?
No. So the theory, because Animal Control came out and did absolutely nothing. Thank you so much, Chesterfield Animal Control, for wasting my tax dollars on your fuel to come out and tell us, "Oh yeah, deer attack. Keep an eye on it." The theory is that it was protecting a fawn. It sensed that my oldest son, who was in front of us all, was a threat. And because, he was, little or whatever, dude went after him. But then my wife and I jumped in, and it was very interesting in that situation to see our reactions. Because as I think back on it, we both did something completely different, but it just kind of worked. Like she went in full on protect the kids mode. I went in full on, I'm going to kill this thing. And it worked. I don't know what would have happened if it had been a male deer. I don't know what would have happened if it was just me and the kids or her and the kids. Thankfully we don't have to find that out. In this situation, it was very scary for one.
If it was just you and the kids, I envisioned you grabbing them basically the scruffs of their necks and just running.
Yeah, put one under each arm and you're hauling ass out of there.
I would like to think that too, but I also think that I might have still just tried to go after the deer, and I would have yelled for the kids to go back to the house. But I still probably would have done everything I could to go for the deer or put myself between the deer and the kids.
What's it like to punch a deer?
Well, I've got a broken finger.
Oh, no.
Which I did not feel at all. Like I didn't realize it was broken till afterwards.
Got all that adrenaline.
Literally trying to wrestle this thing to the ground to choke it. I was going to choke it out. No tap out this time.
Man, that's your shift in hand too.
No cameras or video of this anywhere? Neighbors, someone?
Absolutely. There are eyewitnesses. No
Oh.
cameras or anything. Nobody got pictures.
It's circulating on America's Funniest Home Videos. So he's doing he's doing this. It's cat slaps.
Yeah, and I'm not a small man. I'm larger than probably 90% of the world's male population. So the fact that I was struggling with this, I mean,
Yeah,
I
for
can't
sure.
imagine if it was, I mean, it's a 150-pound deer, but it's like 150 pounds solid muscle,
Also, yeah.
Yeah.
one track mind. It's like no reasoning, just
Is that the sound it made?
Yeah.
It didn't make any sounds.
Is there frothing around its mouth too? I mean, what's going on here?
We joke, like, since we've moved down here, we've had roaches, we've had bats, we've had mice, we've had chipmunks, we've had deer now, and we've had snakes. So,
Nice.
and I live in a suburban neighborhood, like 15 minutes outside of Richmond.
Do-do-do-do.
The more you know.
No, it is a public service announcement for folks, right? Because there are more deer now because less people are hunting. And I'm not advocating for anything one way or the other, but it is a concern for drivers. Tanya's mentioned it before too, because she doesn't use the Auxito LED headlights. See my shameless plug? So, spotting deer is the thing that you got to do because there's more of them out there than there ever has been before.
Dude, I am hell bent. I'm going to take up hunting. I am going to make it my personal mission to make all of the white-tailed deer go extinct.
That's a tall order.
Oh man.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, I saw this one and it wasn't quite Florida man worthy, but I figured, Tanya, you'd appreciate this. Headline reads, Woman doesn't want to get taken advantage of at the mechanic, so she puts on a disguise.
That's got to be the worst freaking disguise.
I thought that at first. And then as I look more at her, but is it?
I mean, the TikTok video is the best, though.
Oh, I didn't see.
The booty shorts are a problem. Like, it kind of throws the disguise off a little bit.
I just saw the still shot.
Oh, yeah. Go to the TikTok video below. But this is where it all falls apart.
The things people do for views.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So from like the neck up, it's all Dukes of Hazzard, but the problem is from the neck down, it's Daisy Duke. So there's there's nothing left to the imagination. You're just like, yeah, you're not fooling anybody, right? You didn't go full Peter Sellers here, Pink Panther style, full disguise, like, no, sorry, that was a fail.
Well, maybe she thought there was a counter.
Yeah, so that's why this didn't make it to Florida, man. This has definitely lowered my expectations.
Lowered expectations.
And speaking of this next one, this cursed road near a North Dakota oil field swallows up any truck that tries it. And I'm like, okay, cursed road. Cursed by the stupid people that continue to try to drive on it.
Oh my God.
That's the only cursed part of this road.
There's a fucking hole in the road and people drive
Yeah.
into it.
That's a wall.
This isn't a road.
Right?
Oh my God, it's a landslide. What? And then they wonder why their built Ford Tough got stuck. Wait, I apologize. Actually, none of these pictures depict a Ford.
And who was driving that backhoe?
It's flipped over. The backhoe can't even make it on this quote road, end quote.
It's terrible, but it's hilarious.
I like this caravan that tried to do it.
Video show that truck's getting swallowed up. I mean, it's underwater.
Again, how hard could it be, right? And this is why I also have said before, reputable news coming from the drive. This is the stuff that they're reporting on. I was like, come on, guys. Like, whatever. All right. Well, I guess it's time we go down south, talk about alligators and bear.
Well, we're going down south, but not the Florida this time. We're going to Houston's I-610 loop. Oh, I know this road.
Oh, boy.
This would have been fun to witness. You really have to watch the video.
Oh, no.
So before you watch the video, this guy's Saab breaks down.
Well, that's the problem right there.
This other person shows up, and I guess someone they know. They couldn't afford a tow truck, so they show up in their SUV to tow the Saab. Go ahead and start watching the video. They attach the tow strap to the rear of the Saab.
Are you serious?
Can you believe?
What the hell?
You almost have to ask, was this a stunt? But I think it's just dumb people.
Wow. Holy shit.
And why don't you immediately stop when you realize? I mean, how fast were you going?
Way too fast.
I mean, the Saab is whipping around. So not only are they trying to pull the car from the rear, obviously the tow hook is on a corner. So they've got the tow strap caddy corner, and then they're like hauling ass down 610, which is like a 495, but straighter.
Oh my God.
Poor car. And the dude's in the Saab. You can see the guy. There's a guy in the driver's
No.
seat.
No.
Okay, there's dude in the driver's seat, and the Saab is just whipping, fishtailing back and forth behind. And allegedly, the lady driving the SUV was like laughing.
This is the principle of when in doubt, throttle out, because he obviously kept speeding up. This is insane. You can see the person in the car trying to counter steer to correct,
That's what
but it's
I'm
actually
saying.
it's making it worse. Oh my God.
Well, here's the thing. Whatever way the car was going, they'd have to go the opposite way. So they probably were just all over the place in general.
Did these people get a ticket?
I hope so. I mean, they could have caused a horrendous accident.
Oh my God. So bad.
I mean, poor car. That car is destroyed. Whatever the problem was that it broke down is like 10 times worse now. The tow truck would have been a far less expensive issue to deal with and the repercussions of that. But anyway, couldn't find much in the Florida scene. Not much going on across the country either. But this was the nugget that I think makes up for the slow month.
And with that, Tanya, it's time for our GTM Trackside Report, sponsored by the Northeast region of the Audi Club of America.
Are you ready to discover the exhilarating world of track driving? This season, step into your driver's seat and experience the thrill of pushing your car to its limits in a safe, controlled environment, perfect for those who have always dreamt of getting on track. Here are some upcoming ACNA events you might want to check out. New for the schedule is a 2-day HPDE event at Mont Tremblant, also known as Saint Jovite, and that's in Quebec, Canada. Partnering with the BMW Club, this event takes place Saturday and Sunday, June 28th and 29th. Also, there's a 2-day HPDE at Palmer Motorsports Park, July 19 and 20, followed by Watkins Glen on a Wednesday and Thursday, August 13 and 14th. And if you're in the Mid-Atlantic region, you can go to NJMP's Thunderbolt Circus for a Monday-Tuesday event, September 15th and 16th. And also just added to the roster is an HPDE solo day at Lime Rock Park on Friday, October 10th, along with FCP Euro's Oktoberfest, which is also being held at Lime Rock on Sunday, October 26th. For experienced track enthusiasts, these events offer a fantastic opportunity to refine your techniques and challenge your precision on the track. Reconnect with the vibrant community of drivers and instructors who share your passion and enjoy the friendly and supportive atmosphere. Push your limits, improve your handling skills, and take the opportunity to make every second on the track count.
That's right, Tanya. And for more Audi Club events outside of just track time, please visit www.neqclub.org to discover more events like this. You can also visit our motorsports calendar at club.gtmotorsports.org and then click on events. All right, Brad, it's time to take us home.
And if you're not quite ready to hit the track, don't forget that you can find tons of upcoming local shows and events at the ultimate reference for car enthusiasts, CollectorCarGuide.net.
And we got a promo for the Ferrari Marketplace, too.
For everything from Ferrari and Porsche, Lamborghini, and Koenigsegg, visit exoticcarmarketplace.com. If you're into anything with wheels and a motor, log on to the Motoring Podcast Network and check out our family of podcasts at motoringpodcast.net. This is the place to find your favorite new show. Next up, a shout out to David Beatty and his team at Slot Mods, who custom build some of the coolest slot car tracks in the world at slotmods.com. Let your imagination run wild. And finally, Grand Touring Motorsports, covering all aspects of auto racing and motorsports history. Check out their e-zine at gtmotorsports.org. All the links for our sponsors are in the description.
Be sure to jump back into our podcast catalog and check out other programs we offer like Screen to Speed, The Ferrari Marketplace, The Motoring Historian, Evening with a Legend, The Logbook, Break Fix, and of course, The Drive-Thru. And remember, for everything we talked about on this episode and more, be sure to check out follow-on article and show notes available at gtmotorsports.org.
And a spoiler, coming in August, we got a new series, so stay tuned. During Monterey Car Week, we have a whole new podcast coming on to the Motoring Podcast Network. So I don't want to tell you the name just yet, but stay tuned. You will know, and it's slightly different, and we're hoping you guys will enjoy it. So give us some feedback when you hear the first couple episodes coming online later this summer.
And if you enjoy our various podcasts, there's a great way for you to support our creators on the MPN. We've got lots of great extras and bonuses to explore on our expanded Patreon page. So if you'd like to learn more about our bonus and behind-the-scenes content and get early access to upcoming episodes, consider becoming a Break Fix VIP by clicking the blue Join for Free button in the middle of the page when you visit patreon.com/GTMotorsports. And a thank you to our co-host and executive producer, Tanya. And a big shout out to William Big Money Ross for joining us tonight.
Well, again, thank you, William, for coming on. We appreciate you, and we look forward to more of your episodes throughout the season, too. And I'm sure we'll have you back on another drive-through. We're going to talk about Le Mans Classic.
Yeah, well, we got Hillsborough, we got a lot of things coming up.
And we might just have to do a special episode about Le Mans Classic.
Yeah, I think so. That's going to be a good one. So, because there's a lot of things we got to discuss about that, because it's going to be interesting. That's for sure. But I appreciate you guys having me on, though. This has been awesome, as always.
And all the fans, friends, and family who support Grand Touring Motorsports and the Motoring Podcast Network. Without you, none of this would be possible.
I think this is a record. This might be the shortest one ever.
It's still going to be an hour and a half long.
Peace.
Outro.
Hang on.
Sorry, stupid audio. Go ahead.
Well, hello. Or shall I say bienvenue? Bienvenue.
Is he frozen? Oh. It didn't load. That's the problem. It doesn't load.
Oh, but we have a guest in the house with us tonight to celebrate Le Mans. Are you on mute? Did you mute your mic?
Yeah,
It's his new
muted.
microphone.
There's a button on it. Sometimes you can accidentally hit it and it goes red.
There we go.
That's how he did his other episode.
I wonder why that was right underneath there.
He wonders why stuff gets edited.
You skipped Florida Man.
Oh, we missed one. Oh, look at this. Look at that. We have the toilet.
The pinnacle and the pitiful.
William's talking, but I think his mic muted itself again. Did it? Did it turn red?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got it.
Well, here we are in the drive-through line. Me and her, cars in front of us, cars in back of us, all just waiting to order. There's some idiot in a Volvo with his bright sun behind me. I lean out the window and scream, hey, what you trying to do, blind me? My wife says maybe we should pause.
We hope you enjoyed another awesome episode of Break Fix Podcast, brought to you by Grand Touring Motorsports. If you'd like to be a guest on the show or get involved, be sure to follow us on all social media platforms at Grand Touring Motorsports. And if you'd like to learn more about the content of this episode, be sure to check out the follow-on article at gtmotorsports.org. We remain a commercial-free and no annual fees organization through our sponsors, but also through the generous support of our fans, families, and friends through Patreon. For as little as $2.50 a month, you can get access to more behind-the-scenes action, additional pit stop minisodes, and other VIP goodies, as well as keeping our team of creators fed on their strict diet of Fig Newtons, gummy bears, and Monster. So consider signing up for Patreon today at www.patreon.com/GT Motorsports. And remember, without you, none of this would be possible.